Here's your First Warn Weather forecast first, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
The winds of change came in this afternoon, allowing our temperatures to drop from where they've been the last couple of days and putting a little chill back into the air. The northwesterly winds sustained 15 to 20 miles per hour. We've had some gusts today that have been close to 30, even 35. Now the stronger wind gusts will come down, but we'll still maintain that breeze. 39 our temperature in Rockford. We're 38 in Freeport, Rochelle, same thing in DeKalb, and 39 our current temperature out in Poplar Grove. Well, we had clearing following some of the rain from earlier today. We are going to see the cloud cover roll back in. This will turn our skies mostly cloudy as we go through the night tonight. As temperatures drop into the 20s, mid-20s, could see a couple of flurries, even a light snow shower or two. We'll look at the impacts that could have tomorrow morning, coming up in the First Warn forecast a little later.
Illinois considers a new act that would allow people to end their lives. Supporters say there are strict safeguards in place before the option is available. Plus, lawmakers debate over the IRS's new plan to focus on wealthy Americans. The agency says it's only going after people breaking the law. Some congressmen aren't convinced. And January saw millions of dollars in missing cash returned to Illinoisans. The state treasurer says many people don't know there's money to be claimed from deceased loved ones.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Eric Wilson. Mimi Murphy is off tonight. Before we get to those stories, Kansas City police released more details about the shooting at the Chiefs celebration parade. Police say there are a total of 23 victims from the shooting. One woman died. The other victims' ages range from 8 to 47. Half of them are younger than 16. Police detained 3 people. 2 of those suspects are juveniles. Investigators recovered several weapons at the scene.
Preliminary investigative findings have shown there was no nexus to terrorism or homegrown violent extremism. This appeared to be a dispute between several people that ended in gunfire.
We have parades all the time. I don't think they'll end. Certainly we recognize the public safety challenges at issue that relate to them. This is why we have detectives right now who are doing important work to make sure that people who committed these offenses are brought to justice.
More than 800 police officers were stationed at the scene of yesterday's victory celebration. 600 were Kansas City PD. There have been no charges filed against the 3 people detained. The police chief says investigators have 24 hours to present charges or release potential suspects. Talking about death is never easy, but some people in Illinois want to put the conversation out in the open. That includes giving patients the option to decide when their life will end. Drea Baroni learned more about a bill working its way through Springfield. Drea's supporters say this is about choice.
That's right, Eric. The newly introduced End-of-Life Options for Terminally Ill Patients Act could make Illinois the 11th state to allow medical aid in dying. The legislation gives a mentally sound adult with 6 months or less to live the option to get medication to die peacefully. I talked with Amy Sherman, the advocacy director at Compassion and Choices Action Network. She says this isn't going to be something easily prescribed. There are quite a few safeguards put in place.
In fact, this is a very rigorous model when you really get down to it. Also, because we are very concerned that it is voluntary, the person, as I said, must be able to self-ingest the medication. Also, they have to make 2 oral requests and a written request. And there's actually an independent witness requirement for one of the oral requests. So there's a lot done to provide peace of mind that this is really a voluntary act.
The act also requires 2 doctors to confirm the prescription. Polling data from 2023 shows that 73% of Illinois voters support medical aid in dying. Eric?
Thanks, Drea. A congressman's cryptic message about an urgent national security threat rattles nerves in Washington. The White House briefed congressional leadership. Lawmakers say there is no need to panic. According to reports, the U.S. has intelligence on a new space-based Russian nuclear weapon system designed to target international satellite networks. Members of Congress were quiet when asked about the developments.
I'm concerned there's no imminent or urgent risk to any Americans, and I think that's the only message that I can and want to convey.
I am confident that President Biden, in the decisions that he is taking, is going to ensure the security of the American people.
House leadership says both sides of the aisle take the threat seriously. Illinois and Cook County pledge extra money to respond to the migrant crisis in Chicago. The state and county are looking to throw in more than $250 million total. Illinois is set to pick up $182 million, Cook County up to $70 million. The governor's office says state, county, and Chicago teams estimate after a long-term planning exercise, they need $321 million to maintain shelter and services this year. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill grill the head of the Internal Revenue Service over the agency's plans to make sure wealthy Americans pay taxes. Commissioner Daniel Werfel talked to lawmakers about how the IRS is preparing to process millions of tax returns. He admitted the agency needs to do better with digital security and customer service, but most of the hearing focused on a new multi-billion-dollar effort to target high-income taxpayers. New data show the top 1% paid a record high 45% of all federal taxes in 2021. Werfel says the agency is only going after those who are breaking the law. Some lawmakers believe the move is a waste of money.
This should frustrate people. And we have so many honest Americans who pay their taxes on time, and these millionaires and billionaires are not.
The IRS is spending its windfall of $80 billion in fantasyland claims about how much revenue the agency thinks it will generate from increased audits.
The IRS is also asking lawmakers for another $800 million to close what the agency calls the inequity gap. A state program provides vehicles to help people with disabilities get around. The Illinois Department of Transportation announced more than 500 paratransit vehicles are being awarded to 113 public transit providers and nonprofits across the state. One vehicle is coming to Boone County. Freeport is receiving 3. Rockford Mass Transit District has 5 coming. They're set to be delivered within the next 2 years. The federal government hands out grants to O'Hare to help the airport make improvements. There's nearly $1 billion total for more than 110 airports across the country. Projects range from wider concourses and new baggage handling systems to new terminals. O'Hare is getting $40 million to widen a concourse and reconfigure a security checkpoint. Fort Lauderdale's airport's getting the largest grant, worth about $50 million. The Illinois State Treasurer's Office returned more than $17 million in missing money during January. This came in the form of unclaimed property, whether that be uncashed vendor checks or unpaid life insurance claims. When it cannot be returned to the rightful owners, the money ends up in the State Treasurer's Office by law. More than 25,000 claims were paid for the month. The State Treasurer says it's a good idea to check on deceased relatives' claims as well.
Too often, people put money in accounts or safe deposit boxes and they don't tell their children about it. And when they pass, the money isn't claimed and it's eventually turned over to our office. We'd like to get it back to its rightful owners or their rightful heirs.
The Treasurer's Office recommends checking the Icash website to see if there's money waiting for you. 1 in 4 people in the state have unclaimed property. The average claim is about $1,000. Several lawmakers on Capitol Hill are trying to push through a border bill before the presidential election. Up next, that effort comes after the Senate's foreign aid package fell apart in the House of Representatives. Coming up at 6, many schools have police walking their halls to protect students and staff. One local officer says security is just one aspect of the relationships they build with kids.
Our temperatures this afternoon made it into the 40s, 43 degrees after starting off in the mid-30s. We see a little cool down going into the weekend, but we warm right back up next week. How long that warm up is expected to last, coming up in the first warn forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Some lawmakers are not willing to wait until after the presidential election to pass a border bill. Just days ago, the Senate passed $95 billion foreign aid package, crumbled on Capitol Hill. Anna Wernicke shows us even Republicans can't agree on how to move forward.
Lawmakers are scrambling to revive a border bill after House Republicans rejected the Senate's national security supplemental package.
In the latest product they sent us over does not have one word in the bill about America's border, not one word about security.
Speaker Mike Johnson says House Republicans are instead working on a new measure, one that Tennessee Republican Mark Green says adequately addresses the border crisis.
The action is not dead. People are working right now to get us to
something that maybe the Senate will be okay with.
Quit sending over a bill to the Senate that can't get one Democrat support.
But South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham warns if the bill isn't bipartisan, it's back to square one. And he says border communities need the help now.
Our border is in shambles. So I want my House colleagues to send over something tough, but that can have a prayer of getting through the Senate.
Graham says to stress the urgency of a border bill, he canceled his trip to Germany this weekend to instead go to Eagle Pass, Texas.
I'm going to Texas with the purpose of trying to find a solution to the broken border, push the Senate, the House, and the Biden administration to do something.
But some Democrats fear the border security demands will derail aid to Ukraine and are urging House Republicans to take up the Senate-passed $95 billion foreign aid package while border talks continue.
Refusal to do so is causing Ukrainians to die.
In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki.
The state line will cool down for the next couple of days. After the break, Candace tells us about our chances of seeing flurries tonight, but the cold may not last long.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, isn't that just a gorgeous sunset here this evening? And it is still nice to be able to see the sun. 5:15 on our Thursday. We've had lots of sunshine this afternoon after we woke up to some rain, maybe even a few thunderstorms and even some snow in some spots. Our skies were able to clear out and the sun sets on a mostly clear sky. That's a live look with our SkyTrack camera up in Beloit here this evening. But we are going to see an increase in cloud cover over the next couple of hours ahead of another system that'll pass down to the south of us. Now, while we had sunshine out there today, it felt a little cool, even though our temperatures this afternoon made it into the 40s, all thanks to that northwesterly wind putting that chill in the air. And at times, we had our wind gusting 30 to 35 miles per hour. That wind speed coming down just a bit, but we are going to maintain that breeze from the northwest as we go through this evening. 37 our temperature in Freeport. We're down to 39 right now in Rockford. Feels like 31 in a couple of spots. That wind chill factor down into the 20s. So quite a difference from the record warmth we had last week. Our weather watcher Terry in Genoa, 39 degrees, dew point temperature at 16. So lots of dry air in place. No precipitation down there to be had, 40%. The relative humidity, northwesterly wind at 9 miles per hour. As we go through the next couple of days, we've got a couple of lighter snow showers that could work in here once we get into this evening and overnight and early tomorrow. Now, I mentioned some of that record warmth that we've had the last couple of Thursdays. Today didn't quite make it to a record. 43 was the high temperature, record high 63. The 60s would be nice. Set back in 1921, but interesting here, our first warned weather intern Eric pointed this out. We had two record high temperatures the past 2 Thursdays. Last Thursday 59, the record high was 58, and back on the 1st of February 55, record high temperature 48 degrees. I don't think we see any records in the short term, but our temperatures, they are going to warm right back up once we go through the next several days. Yes, we've got a dip in those numbers here the next few days, but next week, the end of next week, we are back into the 40s and the 50s. Snow showers off to the west of us. We first see the cloud cover move in, then we've got some lighter snow, but the bulk of that system is going to pass to the south of us. So by about 9-10 o'clock, you'll notice skies will start to thicken up. With the cloud cover, we turn mostly cloudy. Remember, we've got some dry air still to overcome, so we won't really see any precipitation move in until about 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, and most of that is expected to fall mainly to the south, so along Interstate 88 and points to the south. Now, with temperatures in the 20s, some of that may stick in a couple of spots, so wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's a slick spot or two, especially across our southern counties. Whiteside, Lee, southern DeKalb County, kind of heads up for you going into tomorrow. We'll maintain some of the cloud cover, but we do clear out tomorrow night. Look what it does to our temperatures, brings us into the teens Saturday, and we still do have the wind. So with that, wind chills Saturday morning are going to be down in the single digits. Wind chills stay in the teens by Saturday afternoon, but we'll see a brief warm up there going into Sunday. Temperatures then in the mid 40s Monday afternoon. Might see a shower late heading into next week, and maybe a couple of lighter rain showers. We'll keep an eye on another area of low pressure during the Wednesday, Thursday time frame, but we're right back into the 50s most likely, at least going into parts of next week.
It's nice to see those 50s return so quickly. Candace, thanks. Scott is in next with sports. The Chicago Bears say goodbye to 2 of their starters. And Scott will tell you why you might want to check out the Blackhawks game tonight.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
Well, the Bears quarterback situation is the big story of this offseason, but there will certainly be other big ones that will play out, like the one today. The Bears have released safety Eddie Jackson and offensive lineman Cody Whitehair. Jackson's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's started all 100 games that he's played in his 7 seasons with the Bears. He ranks 9th on the Bears' all-time tackle list, and he is tied for 18th in interceptions. Whitehair started 118 games on the line in his 8 seasons. His versatility at center and guard made him valuable, but the Bears feel they can do better on the line now. Hey, the franchise returns to the ice tonight for the Blackhawks. Connor Bedard will play for them at the United Center against the Penguins. It'll be the first time he's played since January 5th here, when his jaw was fractured, when the Devils' Brendan Smith lowered the boom on him. Bedard had surgery on his jaw, but he's been cleared to play. Without him, the Blackhawks really struggled to score goals. They made only 20 in 14 games. Well, the nation, or at least a good chunk of it, will be watching tonight as Caitlin Clark tries to make NCAA history. She needs 8 points to become the NCAA's all-time leading scorer in women's basketball. That should be a snap, since she's averaging 32 points per game. Iowa will be hosting Michigan at 7 o'clock. That game is being streamed on Peacock. You can't see it anywhere else. The Cubs keep limbering up for the season down in Arizona. They're getting acquainted with new manager Craig Counsell, and he's getting acquainted with them. So what's Counsell's message to the guys as they dive into this thing?
There's no speech that changes the world right now. That's a big misconception, I think, about sports. They make movies about it, but it's really about us connecting as a group. That's what our job is right now. Take care of the things you take care of the first 10 days. It's not to get too far ahead of ourselves.
That's sports. We'll be right back.
So a couple of chilly days before our temperatures ramp right back up to well above normal. Are we at the point where we're still in the low 30s? Because within the last couple of weeks, right, our average temperature has started to climb.
The average high, yeah. So we're like 34, anywhere from 33 to 36 degrees, that average high temperature, kind of depending, doesn't range too much from, southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois. But yeah, our numbers have been above that. And by the end of the month, the average high is right around 39 degrees. So we start out about 30, 31, and then the end of the month, we end at about 39 degrees. And the temperatures even next week are going to be above, where we're back into late March, early April kind of territory with those numbers. But yeah, we've got some single-digit wind chills going into the weekend, some lighter snow tonight, and then 50s next week.
Thanks, Candace. And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.